Good morning. We're running today Duchess class locomotives in 3 different liveries. They're all Hornby models, all analogue DCC ready. They all have power cables to the tender. I do have a Duchess of Rutland, which is an older model, which does have a tender that clips on the back with like little brass clips that the hook slides into, but these are not of this ilk. And the blue locomotive is a Duchess of Gloucester. The black locomotive you can see now is wartime black, is the city of Edinburgh. And the BR green locomotive is a Duchess of Montrose. The Duchess of Gloucester is in BR blue, an experimental colour in the late 50s. It is pulling LMS rhubarb and custard carriages, and you can see in the distance the city of Edinburgh is pulling LMS crimson carriages. The Duchess of Montrose, you can see now, is pulling a Bachmann crane with 3 toolboxes and a guards van. You can see we've slowed Duchess of Gloucester right down and stopped it at the station, and you can see the other locos in the background. Now the purpose of this panorama is you will see the Duchess of Gloucester, we're only pulling 5 rhubarb and custard carriages. Now I do have, no it's not because I've had to pay the mortgage this month, we do have 8, well we have 9 of these carriages. But what I'm demonstrating here is if you have a smaller layout, if I'd have put 8 carriages on the back of this, it would have looked silly. Whereas 5 is a nice size for the wall loop. It looks good, it's not overpowering it, and that's what you've got to think of when you've got a model railway. It's not what everybody else tells you, oh you've got to run 8 carriages to be realistic. Well yes, even 10 or 12, but there's no point in putting that amount of carriages when you're only running on a smaller loop. So what you have to also do is tailor what you buy to the size of your model railway. Yes, if you want to run 10 carriages on a loop this size, that's fine, but in our view it's more realistic running 5. And you can see there's 9 carriages coming behind now, being pulled by the city of Edinburgh, and it fits in with the size of the loop that it's running on. And I think that's important. People sometimes forget that it's a model railway. They're so keen on trying to get a realism that they will not get because they do not have the space to get it. And you can see all these locos, they run really nicely. The Hornby Coronation class, or Duchess class, whatever you wish to call it. Coronation, actually the Duchess class I think was a model before. The Coronation class locomotive, they all run really nicely, and they're running on all different types of track. You can see here on the inner loop, you would just see now it's pulling into a right hand set piece track. The Duchess of Gloucester is coming around now, it's doing a right hand set piece point, so I should have said point before. So it's going through on all different types, all insul pico, insul frog points. If I'm honest, I've probably bought too many of these Duchess class locomotives, but they are pleasing on the eye. I've never had to send any back. I have had to adjust a few back-to-backs on these, which you've got to be careful when you're doing the main wheels. The front bogies are easy, which probably isn't best practice to receive a locomotive if you don't know what you're doing, but it's easy enough to do. And I would use an internal micrometer. I always use an internal micrometer, and back-to-backs have to be between 14.40 and 14.50. If you've got a back-to-back of 14.10, there is a chance it will derail. Especially when it's pulling heavier loads, because you've got the inertia and pull of the wagons, coaches on the bends tugging at the loco. So in that set of circumstances, it's more important that everything is as it should be. Okay, here's an interesting one for you. Yesterday, on our Duchess video, one analog and one digital, I said I'm not going to run it round the inner part of the track, simply because it's a rubbish bend, which it is, and it derailed a couple of times. Anyway, what we did today was we ran another Duchess round this useless part of the track, and it went round okay. So I thought I'll investigate even further, and the back-to-back, as I've said, should be 14.50, 40 to 50. One of the front bogies was 14.2, and one of the main wheels was 14.10. So I've adjusted the back-to-backs, and this massive loco is going around the worst part of my track without any problems. And I've just shown you that. We'll show you do this again. You're going to get the City of Edinburgh coming through, and then we're going to flick it back and put it on where it should be. We're going to show it going around one more time around this part of the track, which I know is awful. And now we're going to flick it back to where it should be. And there we go. Now we're going to be on the piece of the track it should be on. And you're going to see now it's easy. I should have known better. I should have checked the back-to-backs, but because that bend is so poor and I've had problems with it, but you can see, you saw with your own eyes that it's not an issue. And back-to-backs are critical. It's the difference between 0.10 and 0.50 or 0.40 minimal is enough. Remember, 1 millimetre is the equivalent to 3 inches in the real world. Here's a nice shot for you where you're going to get a close-up of all 3 locos at some stage. Duchess of Gloucester and the City of Edinburgh are in sync, which is more luck than judgment. And here's what I believe is a nice diorama, where you're getting a good view of all the locos most of the time. And they all offer different things, different colours. I realise serious modellers do choose the colour of their locomotives by the era they're running, but there are those of us who choose a model because we like the colour. And what you do is you run that model with whichever rolling stock you wish to run it with. So you're just getting an idea of how they look in their different liveries. Obviously the Duchess of Montrose would probably not be pulling a crane and tool wagons. But it's something different, and I do like this crane. This is often how we'll run it if we've got the football on the TV. Analog's nice and easy. You can see it's running reliably, there's not too much noise. We're running Gauge Master DO controllers. It's a large layout, lots of power. Now the reason that is, some older locomotives take a lot more ampage than the newer ones, and they need the amps. Now also, if you're running digital locomotives in analog, especially the Bachmann ones, if you do not have a high amp analog controller, they will not run. They need a lot more amps. And here you have the open track, our version of the Licky incline. If you notice today, we've got them all going around in the same direction. We thought we would do something different. This is a view I like, because you get the heavy express train. You can see it running down the back with the coaches. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed watching this, and I hope this video has given you an insight to the different liveried Coronation class locomotives that Hornby do. And no, I do not work for Hornby. I'm just showing you so it gives you an idea of what is available on the market today. I'm not sure that the city of Edinburgh is available that easily. I'm pretty sure the Duchess of Gloucester is. The Duchess of Montrose, I haven't seen many of those. I dare say if it was a locomotive you were interested in, you'd probably find one on eBay or somewhere else. But I haven't seen many of the Duchess of Montrose. Maybe they didn't make many, or people didn't stock them, or maybe I'm just talking rubbish, and because I haven't seen them, it doesn't mean there aren't many of them. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Just before I finish, the rhubarb and custard carriages are all Bachmann. The LMS carriages, they're from a Bournemouth set, Hornby set, and from another cross-country set with large D couplings. So what I did was, I brought two Bachmann LMS carriages and put the mid D coupling on it, so it could connect to the large D couplings, and I've got standard NEMs on the front and the back. So that's why you probably noticed the roof on the front carriage is different to the rest, as is the roof on the back carriage. And even though I thank you for watching, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you, do a PS video where you can actually see this. This is how you run old Hornby coach stock with the large D coupling with the newer locomotives. Now what you will find with a lot of older Hornby coaches is the large D couplings are attached, and that's it. It's part of it. So what you do, and what we did, you could probably buy a Hornby or a Bachmann one, but this is a Bachmann restaurant car, and we changed the NEM coupling at the back for an R8267. That will run with the old large Hornby decoupling and you will not get derailments. And obviously we've left the NEM at the front so that the locomotive can attach to it. Obviously you can see the roof is a different colour on the newer stock, which they were in real life anyway, not everything matched totally. If you can run it forward please and go to the back carriage. If you try and run NEM, standard NEM with a large decoupling, you can be heading for derailments. But these old Hornby carriages, there's nothing wrong with them. If we can just slow down, a bit further forward, and stop please. And here is another new kit. This might be, I don't even know if this is Hornby or Bachmann, but you can see it's got the standard NEM at the front, and here it's got an R8267 attached to the old Hornby coach. And that came out of a Bournemouth set or something, a pack of 3. There were 2 packs of 3. And that is how you run old coach stock with modern locomotives, or where you've got standard newer NEM couplings. Thank you for watching.